its match with the historical descriptions enabled already in the 19th century to suggest that Tel Mutzailim is indeed Megiddo, and it was one of the first sites excavated in the Holy Land, already by a German named Schumacher. He marks the first excavations at the site, and later sponsored by the Rockefellers, an American expedition basically shaved or peeled the whole mound up to level number 3, up to the 3rd layer, and then went beyond it at other places, sometimes all the way down to bedrock. The finds of Megiddo are rich, are vast, are highly important for the field of biblical archaeology. And although the American team was working in the 1930s, they were already paying attention to pottery types and the sequence of layers. They were one of the first real proper scientific excavations of a biblical mound. And yet they didn't answer all the questions. Yigael Yadin, for instance, returned to Megiddo to answer the important question of the nature of the 10th century, something that Yossi is now contributing much to in his dig in Kayafa. The biggest advantage of Kayafa is that it's a one-layer site, okay? So it's easy to date it, unlike Megiddo and unlike many other places, which continue to be inhabited.
Our tour guide does it. She's in here. Okay. Just so she'll know we're in here. We're in.
And 2 sets of what that used to be staying. Look at these long rooms. We will see the living when we get to the top. And we have a courtyard view. Also an example on the other side. And what did we read on the way is something like that. What did we read about stables in the Bible that Solomon had? Solomon was a 1+1. And he's tempting David to Solomon's chariot series. Here's one complex, here's another. In between them you have 2 big administrative buildings, 1723 is the catalog number that the Americans gave us, and here's another one. And granary, maybe for collecting the taxes and feeding the horses. The big question is, which period is this? Who was the one who did it? The older period was ascribing them to Solomon and his people. Already Athena was raising his doubts, and today, there we go. You just have to press it nicely. And on the model, you can simply lift the Iron Age level, and then the middle and late Bronze. The Bronze Ages layers are presented underneath it. Okay, the Americans were lucky enough in the big trench to find a sequence of temples. That's on one hand. There should be. Okay, another place where the one Canaanite layer goes up very slowly.
Needs a new battery.
And underneath it, you can see again layers of the previous period, in this case the Middle Bronze Age gate. It looks like there were a set of gates that were always in the northern part of the city. And you have to bear in mind that this is not the whole of Megiddo. This is the Acropolis of Megiddo. The rest of the city is where we are. This is actually the connection. We are inside those buildings, which is connecting the lower city with the upper city. And apparently the rulers protected themselves from their own people down in the lower city. It was a monitored entrance both in Middle Bronze, Late Bronze, and Iron Age. Here are the evidence. They were found one right next to the other. And you used to go up using the Iron Age. Now they fixed it that you use the Canaanite level and then some of the Iron Age level as well. The Iron Age entryway is very impressive, and it seems to have an inner gateway and an outer gateway. Here is the inner one, the more heavily fortified with two towers flanking the actual entrance, and an outer entrance as well. So there were like levels in security, but there are no angles inside the gate itself, which will appear later. The courtyard in between them was probably the place where the trade was done, the judges sat, the officers, everything that the Bible tells us about. At some places even a mention of David sitting in between the gates. He was probably referring to this type of courtyard in Jerusalem. Okay? The indication of trade can be found even in the language, in the Hebrew language. How do you say exchange rate in Hebrew? Sha'ar Khalifin, which means literally the exchange at the gate. To this day we remember this. How do you say a greedy person in modern Hebrew? Rodef Betza, someone who's after the ingots, after the nuggets. Okay? Betza is a slice of a big piece of silver. Before the invention of coins, we did trade by cutting pieces of silver and weighing them against the shekel weights. To this day, we remember the desire to have as many pieces of silver as possible. So language is also used in a way to understand better our past. And if you have no further question, let's go up to the site and see the real thing. Okay? Now, water.
This won't happen up there.
You're going to lower that? Don't hit the wrong one, it starts Armageddon.
Yes, I didn't speak yet about the future of Meggido. I'm going to do that at a very specific spot. There you go. This one up there.
It's a hydraulic pump.
Well, you would leave it too. Just give a different effect.
Look in these. Should be one of those.
Oh well.
I think it's stuck because
Armageddon's coming.
Exactly.
If it falls, Jim, it's your responsibility.
You won't tell.
I'll go down on its own after a while. Excuse me.
Position, not the real slave. And definitely the size and the skill. This is some high official of Jeroboam. This was considered the prize find of Schumacher's excavation. And unfortunately it was in Turkish times, so the Turks ended up taking it. It was in the Archaeological Museum in Istanbul, and then it got lost. It was just lost in the archive. Maybe someone knew its value and somehow it was stolen and then sold to some anonymous collector. By the way, last night 7 paintings were stolen from a museum.
Where? Rotterdam. Oh.
enter Meggido from the Iron Age level. You would miss the original entryway from the Iron Age, which was right here, these steps. People living in the lower city would address the king or the administrator, the governor, by going up to a secured path, steep, and then on the top you had the outer gate and the inner gate. This was then fixed by adding this down, which not only shows now that we call it the gallery, the ascent, but also the Canaanite gates up ahead.
Take a good picture.
Somebody's burning something over there.
Yeah, it looks like Denver. It does. It's like our area. Is that right? It's like chopped up.
My guess is it's right there.
Public greenery.
How do we know it's such? We found bits of straw, of wheat in the excavation, and it's also not plastered, so you cannot argue for a well or a cistern, as can be the case elsewhere. Its location is also right next to the administrative center, building 1723, which has nothing left. At a later stage, the Americans cleared it and made a trench. So they started making a trench in that direction. You can only see the corners of that building. The prison is in that direction. This is Kibbutz Meggido. Where's the kibbutz? Right there. Schumacher's headquarters or tent used to be there.
The Stables of Solomon.
Type of antiquities as well. Not over the mount, but the Acropolis. But there's a good chance of finding antiquities there as well.
horses would eat out of this.
This is a pretty recent development of the stable, of the southern stable compound. Trying to show without doubt that this is indeed the case. That photo was for the horses in the garden.
What the stables would have looked like, the southern stables. We're going down into the water system.
Other end, so I don't know how many steps from there.
It's more a lung capacity problem than that.
Go ahead. It's nice that we're not clean. All these steps. Get my camera out. Good things are going to look.
We're going down in.
On the end.
Oh, it's a lot farther than I thought. There's a reel in here. I didn't realize it was going down so deep.
Did everyone make it?
Yes, I think everybody's.
Slowly, but everyone is with us.
Go ahead. Yeah, give you some light.
Down way deep in the water system here.
Elsewhere. I think this is supposed to be the.
Oops, sorry.
Tell me where you went.
No flash.
Exit. The water came this way, you could get it from side to sea.
Oh, good grief. History repeats itself. The last time I was here, the battery on my camera ran out while I was here. And,
Yes, it's a swear.
So this line was done. They had followed it for you.
Anyway, that's what you're taking a picture
Maybe that's what
of. Taking a picture of you.
it wasn't shipped out to get water until it was stable.
Did we get this far? Is he gonna talk here, or should we just go up?
And there is actually water down in here after all.
Those open great stairs.
Oh yeah, those are awful. Those are like propelling you forward.
Take a big glass.
Oops, sorry.
We should have done that.